This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you all for joining me here on the 5th of October for another session of our virtual networking meetings that we do every other Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The agenda is very simple. First, I'm going to mute everybody, which I already have everybody muted. And I'm going to unmute you one at a time so you can take a minute or two to do an introduction to the rest of the group. You can say your name, your company, your product or service, maybe where you are geographically. And also, very importantly, what would be a good client or a good referral for you? So the other folks in the group can keep a lookout for you and refer people to you that they run in that could take advantage of your services. Don't forget, and you can do it now or at any point before we leave, to put in the chat box your contact information or any other information you want to put in there, email, cell phone, LinkedIn profile, websites, whatever. Because at the end, when I send the link for the recording and I post it on YouTube, I will also send you all the information that you put in the chat, so that you can all have each other's contact information in case you want to have conversations offline later as a result of these introductions. So that's pretty much it. Today we have, like always, a nice mix of people that have been here before and new people. So this should be a very exciting session. After we go through the round of introductions, I will unmute everybody and open it up and for two things. One, hopefully the introductions have triggered some questions that you want to ask of somebody else. And two, when we get through that, and if we still have a little bit of time, because I do want to try to get everybody out by 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure, like me, everybody's putting these video chats back to back, back to back. So I want to be considerate of the fact that some of you may have video chats starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. So maybe even 5 minutes before, I'll try to wrap this up. But that's it. That's it for me. And of course, I'm going down in the same order that I see people on my list. And Alejandra, you're number one on my list. So if you could please introduce yourself and say hello to everybody. And again, what would be a good referral for you?
Well, hi, everybody. So good to see everyone today. As usual, thank you so much, Sal, for putting this space together. And so happy to see some old friends' faces and some new friends' faces. So welcome to everybody. And my name is Alejandra Kalman. I actually help people generate residual income on services online from home without having to leave your home, which I love. And I work with a company called ACN. I'm a regional vice president with them. I've been with them for now going into 8 years. It freed me from corporate. I used to work at a bank. I was vice president at American Express, not more. And what I do is I actually market essential services. We partner up with major corporations like AT&T, Dish, DirecTV, Verizon, etc., and we help people save money on essential services. So where somebody is looking to either save money or generate residual on services, I'm your girl. A good referral would be, I say, any business owner that is suffering through COVID right now. It's needing maybe a supplemental additional stream of income. Anybody that is looking a little bit for more time in their life, like I was, just finding a little bit smarter way to generate income, or anybody in the real estate world. I know that's going to sound funny to some of you that don't know me, but what I do with them is I set up a concierge service for them. So that's what I do. And anybody in those worlds, and again, my name is Alejandra. I help people generate income from home on services.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I just saw my good friend Jorge Castro just joined us. And as I think you know, because you've been to these before, everybody's muted. I'm unmuting people one at a time so they can do their introductions. Let's see. Oh, we have another veteran coming up. Barbara, if you could introduce yourself. And I'm not even going to say what you need to say because I know you know it.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Barbara Klein. I am the love coach, and I own the Best You Dating and Life Coaching. and I work virtually with all my clients, and I love helping singles who are frustrated and lonely by teaching them how to discover their own self-worth so they can fall in love with someone they are aligned with. I also run 2 meetup groups. They're called Self-Improvement Singles, and the other one is called Surviving and Thriving Divorce. I love helping people that are struggling and having, pain. Divorce is very painful. To support them through the process so that they can feel that they're not alone, that there are other people out there that are going through similar kind of experiences and so forth. So thank you so much, Sal, for having this meeting, and thank you, everybody. And my contact information is in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And let's see. Next on our list is, and sorry if I kill this, but hopefully I get it right, Greg Jablonski.
Yes, very good, Sal. Well done. Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Jablonski. I'm in West Newbury, Massachusetts, which is just north of Boston, near, if you know, one of the North Shore communities called Newburyport. We're very close to Newburyport. I represent a company called Well Aware Care. Well Aware Care provides technology solutions for seniors who are interested and who choose to age at home in their own homes, as opposed to aging, for example, in an assisted living facility or some other type of facility. The solutions that we provide are non-intrusive. For the most part, they're not wearable, but they are devices of different types that enable seniors to stay in their homes more safely, and also to enable caregivers to monitor them from afar. So that's a quick synopsis of what Well Aware Care does. And Sal, I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this group. I look forward to interacting with all of you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us. And I can already tell you're going to have some questions after we go through the round of introductions. So hold on to your hat. Here we go. My good buddy Jorge Castro. How are you? Oh, you have to unmute yourself from your side.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, again, Sal, thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody. It's fantastic to be here. My name is Jorge Castro. In Hartford, Connecticut, the founder and managing partner of DiscoverMe, web services for small business. And essentially what we do is we exist to provide really essential professional digital marketing services to small businesses who've really been priced out before. Traditional digital marketers will charge a small business $4,000 or $5,000 or more for even the simplest websites, when they just don't need to pay that much. We can set up a professional website for a small business for as little as $500, including a year's worth of service, support, maintenance, hosting, all of that stuff. We include monthly analytic reports that track key metrics based on the individual business, client, industry and goals. And really what we do is trying to fill in that gap for small businesses who either already have their business started or are looking to start one, and basically face the dilemma that so many small businesses face. I don't want to pay $5,000. I don't want to Google search, find someone to pay $5,000 to, and hope they do a good job. I don't want to do it myself. Small business people just don't have the time, or you kind of go without. So we're here to fill in that gap, provide professional services that small businesses need at a price point that they can actually afford. And we're looking to kind of create a brand and solve this problem sort of nationwide and beyond.
Excellent. Perfect. Let me see how we're doing here. Who's next? Oh, next we have And again, I apologize ahead of time if I clobber this, but I'll try real hard. Michelle Miakos.
Yes, hi. I'm unmuted, correct?
Yes, correct. We can hear you.
I'm kind of losing my voice today. My name is Michelle Miakos. I'm the owner of UCSA International. We're a marketing agency in Amesbury. And I've just kind of come across Sal's emails and thought I joined to see how this was. And, you know, we are a full service marketing firm, probably similar to a lot of the things that Jorge does. So, you know, anyone who's in need of any of those services, we do something that is a little bit unique. We do 3D virtual environments where instead of meeting like this, you meet with avatars and have in a business sense. Also, we put together videos from that for people for their marketing to, you know, do a scenario. We're actually doing one for Greg Jablonski right now for their product. So that should be out soon. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us and introducing yourself to everyone and giving everyone an opportunity to learn about what you do. And again, I'm sure when we do the next round, there'll be some questions for you, especially the 3D avatar. That sounds pretty cool. And Monika, if you want to unmute yourself from your side and introduce yourself and where you're at, where you're from, what you do over there.
Got it. Thanks, Sal, for putting this together. I'm not sure how you figured that out, but we got all three digital marketers right in a row. I'm a digital marketer also. And we are similar to what Jorge was saying. We really market to smaller businesses. And we do focus on integrative health care and coaching and doctors and acupuncturists and anybody who's in the health and wellness and spiritual arenas. And basically we are a full service digital marketing agency. So we do it all. We do the social media, we do websites and traffic and landing pages and everything. But what we do have that it doesn't sound like I've heard yet is we have a directory. And so it's called BlitzBe.com. I did put that in the chat. And we have an integrative healthcare directory where coaches can be in it, and anyone who's interested in really spirituality or healthcare or integrating the balance between that to-do list and the to-be list. So BlitzBe.com is our directory. We have places where you can put classified ads also. So it can be used in many, many ways. It's just like a directory would be, you'd find with all kinds of fabulous things in it. So, yep, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's see who is next on my list here. Nicholas Sullivan, if you could please unmute yourself from your side and do the introduction.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Nick Sullivan here in Raleigh, North Carolina with Sullivan Business Solutions. And just to let you know, I got called into a meeting at 2:45, so I'll have to jump off a little earlier than I wanted to. But what do I do? Obviously, business owners, you know, worry about profits. They worry about cash flow, and I can help. I use a software platform to ask business owners a few questions to identify programs that are out there that 90% of business owners don't realize are out there. If they own buildings or hire employees, they can benefit, and often very substantially, from what I identify and capture. I work with a national company, growth management group, to isolate these benefits. For example, if they own buildings, I had mentioned, like if they owned a hotel, recently I helped save $400,000 for a hotel. We worked with a doctor's office, we saved $100,000 on the buildings that they own, and also providing tax credits and benefits for employees that hire. For example, if you hire veterans, you can get $2,400 or more per veteran that you hired. And plus there's different categories. So I benefit companies putting money back into the business, and it's all done on contingency. I complement that with Legal Shield, because obviously business owners need to access attorneys to run their business efficiently, to know what if they're in line with their compliance and debt collection, all those types of issues. We remove the barriers of cost, so it comes down to a small monthly fee, so they can be proactive in protecting their business. Good referrals are CPAs, commercial real estate brokers, commercial insurance. Again, it's Nick Sullivan, Sullivan Business Solutions.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And up next on my list is Rhoda Israelov, who I know you've been to a couple of these, so I'll let you introduce yourself.
Let me see how do I need to unmute myself, or you've done
No,
it?
we can hear you, Rhoda.
We're ready. Hi, everyone. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. My company is Say It For You, and we are the wordsmith end of the marketing spectrum. So we specialize in writing pieces, marketing pieces, primarily blogs and website content. Right now, I'm looking to find a specialty dentist or a cosmetic surgeon, both of which topics I have experience with, and I'm looking for a new client in those two areas. So we Say It For You, and I put my information in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. And let's see. Oh, and last but not least, from New York City, Yona Khan. You have to unmute yourself from your side, Yona.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So, Sal, thank you again for putting this together. Every time I come to this meeting, I always pick up something, so I appreciate it. As Sal said, I am based out of New York City. First and foremost, the most important thing about me is I am a proud father of 4 children, 2 of them teenage daughters, so God help me. I'm a financial advisor who, unlike some of my colleagues and contemporaries, I focus on one thing and one thing only: income protection. We all have needs, we all have wants, we all have goals. How we fulfill those stem from our ability to earn income. We need income in retirement. We need income every single day. So I want to make sure that you have income both for all the what ifs that can come up. How I do that is different for everyone, because even in our needs, such as food, shelter, and clothing, I might want different types of food. I might need more space, different things like that. So I take a singular approach with every single person I meet. Other than that, I'm just really appreciative to be here to see new faces and old faces. And Sal, don't forget yourself.
Oh my God, Yona, thank you very much. All right, let me introduce myself because he's absolutely right. I get so excited about this. Sometimes I forget to introduce myself. So again, thank you for reminding me. Anyway, my name is Sal Acosta. I'm a business broker. I help people buy and sell businesses. Anything that has 10 to 250 employees, any type of business from 0 to 10 or $20 million in revenue. And anything that, in spite of everything that is going on with the coronavirus here, hopefully has positive cash flow from 0 to about $1 million or 2 in cash flow. And the last thing I'll say, and when I send out the email with the link for the recording and the video chat and the chat box and everything, I'll put everything on there. But wrote a book, Secrets to Buying or Selling a Business. You can get it on Amazon. The electronic version's $9.99, and I'll put a link to that too in case anybody wants to read on that. I really do think you're going to get a lot of information for $9.99. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unmute everybody because hopefully some of these introductions have triggered some questions. I know I have a couple questions, but I'll let everybody else go first. The only thing that I'll remind people is one of the differences between a live meeting and these video chats is if 2 people try to speak at the same time, in a live meeting, you can usually understand both of them. In a video chat, you can understand neither of them. So please try to be as courteous as possible and take turns and speak one at a time so we can hear the questions and the answers. Okay, here we go. Everybody's unmuted from my side. So who wants to go first and ask a question from somebody else?
I did forget to add one thing, if it's okay.
Sure.
So because every single person needs income, a good referral for me is anyone who has income and wants to help protect it. That's all.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Does anybody have any questions for somebody else based on the introductions?
Yeah, I have a question for Greg.
Yes, Nick.
So you handle nationally what you do?
Well, the company is the initial product is called Sleep Sound. So it's basically a pad that fits up between the mattress and the box spring. And it's essentially a fall awareness system. So in answer to your question, it's going to be a little bit long-winded answer to your question. We are locally or primarily local at this point, but our business model actually, would address, going national also. And to that point, the installation of the products that we have can be done by the people who purchase them. So to be domestically elsewhere other than where we are located geographically is certainly possible. So the answer is yes. And one thing I would like to just add is our primary thrust from a market perspective is assisted living facilities as well as home care providers. That leads us into individuals.
Okay, thank you.
So you're not set up to, or your focus, let me even say it that way, is not to sell to individual consumers, but to go through the care providers and the assisted living facilities?
Well, it certainly is, Sal. I mean, I think that's the obvious choice, is to look at individuals, but from a business perspective, we can get upwards of 50 clients at one time by talking with assisted living facilities. And the fact is, with the challenges that elderly people have, whether they're in assisted living or individuals, the assisted living facilities have their own set of challenges that are a little bit different and nuanced from what individuals have to deal with.
Okay. Perfect. Does anybody have any questions, by the way, for Nick in particular? Because I know he needs to leave a little bit early, and I wouldn't want somebody to not have a chance to ask him a question if you have a question.
Yeah, you mentioned
Oh, wait, one
something
thing that
about
is very exciting for me today about today's meeting is, as maybe some of you know, this was a meeting that was originally a live meeting that we actually used to sit together for lunch in the Pittsburgh area. And now we're starting to have people from all across the country. So that to me is really exciting. I would say more than half of the people here are not within driving distance of our lunch meeting in Pittsburgh. Let's see, what else? Greg, does your system require Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi connection?
Yes, absolutely. That's the way it works, Sal, is there's a Wi-Fi hub that is part of the system that is provided. And I had mentioned the Sleep Sound system, but there'll be other types of devices that are available. This is what differentiates this system, for example, from some of the other things that are available out there. There'll be multiple capabilities on a single system, with the caregivers being alerted with different types of messages that say, for example, with an incontinence monitor, Emily, has just wet her diaper and doesn't realize it. Can you attend to her? That type of thing.
Excellent. And I'm assuming you put in the chat like a website that we can all go look at.
I have, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have. I think this is the first time our company has spoken to folks outside of I would say, the New England region. So it's an interesting, I'm glad to be able to share this with other folks, that have a bit of an extended reach for us. But the fact is, this type of a situation for older folks is obviously something that everybody hopefully won't have to deal with, but may have to deal with, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Oh, I would venture to say, and including myself, that half of us here today probably have parents, not even grandparents, but parents that could benefit from your technology. I know my mother still, who's past 90 now, believe it or not, still lives by herself down in Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even though she's so far, thank God, completely mentally clear, sometimes I think more than me. And, believe it or not, she's past 90, still drives her car. Her driver's license is good for another 2 years. But certainly, you're going to start running into these issues. So you might as well start researching them and talking about them and getting ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, by the way, my suggestion is when you start to start branching out from New England, the obvious choice is Miami and Florida. Trust me, you're not going to have a lack of market down there.
No, that's for sure. And in fact, if we're successful down there, we're thinking about moving our headquarters down. Just kidding.
Well, Pittsburgh does have a large senior community, so keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. The Buccaneers have Tom Brady now, so you'll be right at home.
Sal, Greg also mentioned a pretty, kind of a pretty key point in terms of the opportunities that this sort of big shove we've all been given into the virtual space at the same time, is affording. Because I know, like for us, we naturally would have just grown, kind of the natural organic geographic growth, meaning we start in Hartford, we work our way towards New York and Providence and Boston and kind of go from there. But the last few months has provided us the opportunity to be doing this, to be, networking, meeting folks literally all over the country, sometimes around the world, who are not just potential clients, but potential collaborators, like here, potential referrers. And I always tell folks, it's not always immediately obvious. It's not always an obvious synergy. It's not immediately obvious how two people sort of might be able to help each other's businesses. But a couple of the folks that I've spoken with more are folks that you wouldn't have thought our businesses would kind of sort of align that way. But being able to establish relationships and meet folks all over the country is really going to give us an opportunity to scale much faster than we ever would have, with this becoming acceptable. And I suspect it's opened, a lot of doors and a lot of kind of new horizons, for folks out there that weren't, none of us knew what Zoom or any of this was, 6-7 months ago. So it's kind of a whole new world now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just to real life example, I mean, to piggyback on that a little bit and maybe take it on a tangent for a second. One of the deals that I'm working on right now is a referral, and it's from a person that I actually originally met, because now with email you can figure all these things out. I actually originally met 2 years ago, and we had kept in touch, with activities like this and the real life equivalents, whatever. And of course, I never expected anything, but 2 years later, I get a really good referral. So just, recognize that, unfortunately, sometimes with this type of activity and business in general, you have to have patience. But if you have patience and you keep talking to people and you keep meeting people and you keep building those relationships, 2 years down the road, you may be very pleasantly surprised.
And if 2020 has taught us one lesson above all else is you never know.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Sal, if I can
Let me ask a
piggyback
question
on what
for
you
my digital marketing folks here. Because this is something that I was actually wrestling with and talking with somebody. And I want to make sure we don't fall into the trap of assuming something incorrect. How effective, and have you been doing direct mail? And by that I mean like postcards into mailboxes as opposed to email in the inboxes. Are you doing that, and how effective is it for anybody that wants to answer, or even anybody else? But I'm thinking maybe the marketing folks have some idea on that.
Monica, Michelle, either if you'd like to go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what. Do I have an echo? Oh, no. Anyway, I think it depends on what your objective is, and who's using it. Is it a restaurant? Is it a bank? You need to look at that. You need to see what the conversion rate might be. And calculate the figures to see if it's going to be worth it. And they need to monitor that so that they can, at the end, like if it's a 2%, conversion rate, that might be fine for them. Some might say that's not worth it to me, for a 5,000, mail. So it just depends on what it is, and you just need to make it pop too, because people get so inundated with mail, and you kind of, oh yeah, okay, it has to really be something for them to catch their attention. Otherwise, it's just going to get lost in the shuffle. So, if it's a restaurant, it might be a scratch thing where if they might, when they come in, they get it scratched off, and then they might win something, not necessarily dinner, but maybe a phone or something that's very enticing to come in, and they're it just depends on what it is. So I guess I didn't really answer that.
No, that's fine, and that's a good point, by the way, which maybe not all of us can do because of our business model. But if you can provide some type of coupon or some type of discount or something to like hook them in a little bit more with your letter or your postcard, that's definitely a good point. Monika, do you do anything? I know you're digital marketing, but do you now or in the past, or even in some of your other business enterprises, have you done anything with direct mail, and did you find it effective or not?
We've tried multiple things. We even went as far as bought like these really beautiful silver and gold envelopes and then used the little stamp thing with the wax on the back of it. And we have found that like Michelle was saying, you have to stand out. And if something comes with a printed, something printed on the front, people aren't going to look at it. But if you send somebody something that's handwritten on the front, that's a different story. People will look at that more because they're like, what is this? And if you don't put your business all over the envelope and all over the information, people will look at it and pay a little bit more attention too. So it is hard, I would say, because that's expensive, to have someone handwrite all the letters and handwrite the information is going to cost you a lot more money than shooting out 1,000 emails really quickly. So like Michelle said, it's going to depend on the group and the niche, what works. I haven't seen anything work really, really, really well yet.
Something that's cool right now is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we're rebranding to this, and this is a webcam cover. And so you can get this in a, like a 4x6 card, and it can say like for an insurance company, where you protect your home, your car, now protect your privacy. And then they'll put this on, they won't go buy this. They'll, put a piece of paper over their webcam, but they'll put this in front of they'll put it on straight away, and then you're right straight in front of them all the time, your brand. So that's one thing I would recommend if you're going to do a mailer, do something like that, where it's catching their eye. It's something they're going to use right away, but it's not going to be something they're going to throw away or put in a drawer. So just an idea.
So from our point of view, we haven't started any sort of official sort of marketing campaign. We are looking at doing an element of actual physical mailers. It will really be something meant to look like our launch announcement is basically meant to look like a postcard. So it'll be sort of like a wedding invitation, a graduation announcement, that sort of basic type of thing. Because even though our model is sort of applicable across all small businesses, our first two beta clients are small restaurants in the city. And I know these folks a lot of times, they don't have websites, often don't have, real like POS systems, are not going to be on email a lot. So we don't have any statistics. We haven't launched the campaign, so we don't know what kind of conversion we're going to get. But our particular niche is interesting in that you use the internet to find everything nowadays. But the folks that we're looking for are the ones whose businesses don't even have a website. So a lot of these folks, might have a Facebook account, might have an email address, but do not live their lives online the way folks in other industries might. For example, I don't know if anyone here has ever been in the restaurant business. That was most of my previous career before this. But the restaurant business is brutal. The hours, the stress. I always tell people, if you don't really love it, you don't really love the business, really love what you're doing, the stress, the hours will just eat you alive. So again, that's kind of our interesting angle, is trying to find folks that aren't going to really be online all that much, or aren't going to be as reachable through the sort of modern digital methods. So something old school, like something kind of physical that they can actually get and hold. We're gonna, like I said, don't have any statistics yet on if it's going to work, but it's going to be the way we think, can supplement all the things that are out there now.
Yeah. And by the way, and you guys are the marketing experts, but I get the feeling, which maybe is a little bit correlated to what Jorge's saying, a lot of it depends on your demographic too. I've done, postcards and letters in the past, maybe some niche stuff, like when I'm trying to get the word out on a particular business for sale. And a lot of times the other business owner, even the business owner that might be doing an acquisition, might be past 50. They'll be in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, but they're still up for making an acquisition. And I get the feeling that demographic likes to receive a letter, likes to receive a card, as opposed to an email. I've had good responses with that. The flip side of why I struggle with this is, if you think about a postcard, by the time you pay for the postage and maybe the printing and maybe if you don't do the artwork yourself, whatever. But long story short, my experience is you're looking somewhere between 50 cents to $1 per piece for a postcard. And so now you're talking about 1,000 or 2,000. It can get expensive. You got to make sure that not only you convert, but you convert into some really good clients, so you get back your $500 or $1,000.
And it's key to know how many, whatever I'm paying, however many are going out, how many of these do I need to land, what do I need to hit to make this kind of profitable? Because if you're, if one of the other ladies is doing a website for $5,000, let's say, and they spend $5,000 on, on all these mailers, they only need to land one or two clients, literally one, but two to make it profitable. So sort of knowing, that's kind of an extreme example, but knowing where that point is kind of so clear. Like, do I need to convert 20% to make this worth it? If so, boy, that really doesn't seem worth it. But if I can hit a couple of jobs, if I just need a couple out of those 1,000, that's going to alter the calculation.
Actually, let me ask this and I'm thinking of maybe Barbara, you in particular, but even some of the other folks that are not in the digital marketing sphere. Have you used any type of direct mail for your business? Any of you?
No.
Early on in my career, I did. But one of the things I did was, after I sent it out, the next day I followed up with knowing or did not reach them yet, but the goal would be to say so they should look out for it. That helped me convert just the people who read the piece, or actually held it in their hands, was a lot higher.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know a lot of folks also, which gets even more complicated. They have sort of I don't know what you call it, a dual strategy. They'll send out a direct mail piece, and then before or after they'll have a telemarketer call. And again, talk about the cost per contact going through the roof. Now you're paying for the direct mail piece, plus now you're paying for somebody to actually call these folks on the phone and say, did you get it and what did you think?
Yeah,
It's now actually. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was recently involved with a co-project with ASB Marketing with Adele Bush out of Ohio. And what she does is she calls prospects not to sell them, but to find out that you're talking to the right person in the right company at the right time. So she does the research so you know who you're sending what to. And then I wrote a postcard that went only to those people that she had found out. So it was a few dozen people, not a few thousand people. A very beautifully designed postcard. And it was for a client who owns a shop that sells specialty vinegars and oils. And so she had a she already had artwork and very decorative things that could go on the postcard, but she just needed to condense her message into, one piece that would make some impact. And so that really worked well. She got a couple of big orders because the research had been done. So it wasn't that the person knew to expect the postcard, but it was just that the postcard was going to the marketing decision person. It wasn't going to 10 other people.
Okay, so it's very targeted. So you think it was worth the effort?
Bye, Nick.
Definitely.
See everybody.
Bye, Nick.
All right, Nick. Thank
Bye,
you for
Nick.
joining us.
Thank you, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Yeah.
So if I could pick up on what Rhoda was saying in terms of the calls and kind of what you mentioned, in terms of setting up, one of our tactics kind of at the beginning, there's going to be a cold call aspect to it, but not exactly kind of a cold call. Like, Sal, I don't know if you've heard me tell this story, but there was a documentary on Showtime a couple of years ago about they came out in the early 90s, the rap group Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know if that name rings a bell to anyone, but they came out in the early 90s and they did a 4-piece documentary about their careers, their start. Really well done, really interesting. So they were talking about how they started, and it was with the guy that did the music, with the RZA and his cousin. Business guy, music guy. All right, you do the business, I'll do the music. So the business guy, as they're getting started, this is when selling records, when guys were still carrying crates of vinyl, records. And he goes into the big music store in New York at the time. And the lady who runs it is not interested. She hasn't heard of the group. She doesn't know the music. Remember, rap is still very new at this point. So she's not interested. So the guy says, okay. He comes back the next week. Only this time, he brings a plant with him. He plants someone in the store. So when the lady again says she's not interested, the plant comes over and says, oh, hey, wait a minute. You have that new, that song that came out last week. Yeah, I've been looking for that, right? What he didn't plan was the other people in the store who weren't plants also say, hey, wait a minute. You guys got that? Yeah, I've been looking for that. So because the lady had already turned him down, the guy turned around out of the box and said, yeah, I got you guys right here. Who wants it? What do you need? The lady runs around from the counter, throws herself over the box of records, says, no, grabs the whole box of records, runs back into the office of the store, bought the entire box from him. The guy goes, that's the first box of records I ever sold. And I used that trick. I did that in every state from Connecticut to the Carolinas, and it worked every time. And so kind of connected to what we're doing, what I'm going to do is on a rolling sort of week by week basis, I might have, let's say, 10 businesses, small businesses I'm looking to target in a week. The previous week, I'll have a series of phone calls made in the afternoon to what Rhoda was saying. You have to get to the decision maker. You have to talk to the right person. So calling during an afternoon in the restaurant business in a weekday, when management is likely to be there, and place a series of phone calls in the week or two leading up to my approach, basically saying, hey, I wanted to order from you guys. You guys have a website? I can't find your menu. Knowing the answer is no. And they can say, oh, we have a Facebook page. You can find it here, there. And just very nicely, oh, but you guys don't have your own website? Okay, all right, thank you very much. And just leave it at that, so that when I approach the next week, it's already in their ears. And somebody's be like, yeah, somebody called. People have been calling, asking us about that. Okay, kind of, what do you got? So as a way to supplement what I'm doing in these networking, meeting folks, connecting with networks of small businesses around, that's another one of the ways that we're trying to be kind of creative and sort of approach it. But again, Rhoda said it was so important in terms of you got to talk to the right person. You got to talk to that, to that key person. So it's all about being creative on some, on how to, on how to get them, how to get their ear, how to get their attention.
Oh yeah, there's so many ways to kind of, I don't know what the word is, plant the seed or motivate people. I remember reading about this guy that wanted to sell his car. And again, this was before the internet. He just put like a classified in the newspaper, whatever. And people would call him to say, okay, fine, I want to go over to look at your car. And I guess he was lucky that he got 2 or 3 people that wanted to come over to look at the car. But what he did on purpose was he set like the first guy for Sunday at 2 p.m. He told the second guy to come in at Sunday at 2:20. And he told the third guy to come in at Sunday like at 2:30, knowing full well that the process wasn't going to be fast enough, that the first guy was going to be out of there. So he actually started like a little bidding war and fight between these people for the car by kind of just putting the appointments so they would overlap. And I thought, man, that's like a really good strategy.
That is
Totally.
One of the things that we have is we set appointments. I have a department that we set appointments for customers, and so we qualify the leads ahead of time so that when they get the appointment, it's with that decision maker. So it is with that right person. So we do the research, find who those people are in their target market, and then we set those appointments for them. So that's something that seems to work well for them.
Okay, perfect. Well, listen, guys, it is just about 2:50 p.m. Here on the East Coast, and like I said, I want to get everybody out in time, in case you have another video chat at 3 or even a real life appointment at 3. Somebody coming to knock on your office or your house or something. Does anybody want to say anything last before we call it quits, or ask anybody anything? Anything more before we call it quits? Greg, I do want the franchise for Florida. I want to be on record with that already. We're at a minimum Miami and Hialeah. But anyway, does anybody want to say anything before?
How do we say the chat?
I do.
Go ahead, Monika.
I just have one more thing. When I was on the phone with Barbara, we were talking about dating and the online dating sites, and I'm in that arena, so I've been interested in that. And so I was talking with a friend, and he's like, since you're entertained by this whole online dating, you should check out Be Connected. I don't know if you guys have heard of Be. It's BEE and then connected with a K, Be Connected. And it is similar to an online dating site for entrepreneurs. And so it's a great
already.
I'll put it so I have you can hook up with me and talk to me about it, and I can get you information and videos, and it's not network marketing. It's not like MLM, but it is a little tiny bit. So if you get 2 people to sign up, you get yours free. But you can't, it's not like you can get 50,000 people and people underneath and underneath and under. So it's not like a total network marketing thing, but it is definitely like, get a couple people underneath you who you can talk to about it, have them join in, and then you get yours for free. So it's really nice in that way, because then it is a free, but it shows the same algorithms that Barbara's dating program, the online, not Barbara's, but online dating sites like OkCupid and Match. It uses the same algorithms, so you can go in. I've been using it for probably 3 weeks now, and I'm having so much fun meeting so many people. And the cool thing is it's not like LinkedIn, where I would message somebody on LinkedIn and then never hear back from them because they're not on their profile and they're not paying attention to it. People pay attention on this, and when I message them, they actually message me back, and I'm having meetings with people, and I'm really just, enjoying the process of meeting people from all over the globe, and having fun with it. So if you want to know more, just let me know, or look up the Be Connected website also, and I can send you some information on it. But it's been really fun for me because I've had fun. And from what I've learned, we could set up something like this. So if you wanted to talk to 5 people, you put them all into your calendar at the same time, everybody jumps into Zoom, and you could introduce a bunch of people and have a mini one of these where you don't have to go through GoToMeeting, or what you could do it through Zoom or whatever. So it's been really, really fun. I've met a lot of interesting people and had some really great connections and been introduced to things that I didn't even know were out there. So it's a good one.
Monica, just real
Former
quick,
candidate right here, so I will definitely take you up on that information request.
Monica, do you have to do or I don't want to call it the network marketing portion of it, but do you have to do that part, or can you like be part of it without doing that part?
You can pay a monthly fee and be a part of it, kind of like you would if you joined OkCupid or Match.
Okay.
You got to pay by month, and then you don't have to say anything to anyone. When I started it, I was like, what are you talking about? You know, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But now that I get that, I can get it for free if I just talk to 2 people about it.
Yeah,
So
I just can't do any of that. I'm too exposed in the company, what I do.
Gotcha. Well, you could
But
talk
I
to your
like the idea,
friends.
like we're too out there to risk anything outside. We're not allowed to do any other. But I like the idea of the connection part of it.
Yeah, and it's got algorithms. So if you like, I'm kind of like data driven. So I've got a spreadsheet and it says New York, and these are the people I've connected with from New York. Then I've got another spreadsheet for, you know, oh, bye, Barbara, from different places. And you can use it how you want to, but you can go in and say, where are you from? You know, what kind of niche do you want them to be from? What are you looking for? So for Rhoda, you could go in and look for the specific, I mean, it sounded like you were looking for specific dentists or specific, you know, people. You could go in and just say, I want to connect with you, and you can send them a message. And the thing that I'm, like I said, you know, people are actually responding to me, which is when I'm throwing out throwing the fishing line out on LinkedIn, people aren't hardly ever responding.
Right.
Hey, Monica, could I ask one question? Is the reason that you think they're responding to you that because of the algorithms, that the algorithms are pointing them at you, or at somebody specific?
It could be, but the other thing that is, we aren't paying for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is free. And so people don't pay as much attention to the messaging from LinkedIn. So when I throw out, you know, messages to specific people that I want to talk to from LinkedIn, maybe they don't even know how to use it. So this is a specific place where people want to network. I mean, they're paying money, they're in there to network, and that's the only reason they're there, is to network with other people. So I think it's just, you know, just like people who are on those sites, Match.com, you know, most of them are looking to connect with
like
someone.
high school and college.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Like high school and college. You pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. You put something into it, then you want to get something out of it.
Right.
So for sure. For sure. And you can pay something to start. And anyway, we can talk more about it later if anybody's
I'm interested. Hey, what I was gonna say, I'm planning to reach out outside of here. I'm interested in really diving deep into all of your guys' businesses and really understanding, you know, more about each other. You know, I actually did that with Yona, and I'm gonna be Yona's customer now. We're on the process. Yona's so patient with me and my husband. We're crazy and all over the map. So I appreciate Yona for his patience. But you know what? He's a great professional. And he's not out for the money. He's really out for whatever is his client's best interest. And that's how I ended up becoming his customer and not somebody else's, just because, you know, because I realized that he wasn't in it for the money. He was in it really for the best interest for his customer. But I would not know that about him had I not met individually with Yona. So highly recommend Yona. Kudos to what he does. I mean, I'm confronted with a lot of people every single day. I could get my life insurance with anyone, but we went with Yona because of his integrity on everything that he does. So appreciate you, buddy.
Excellent.
Thank you, Alejandra. And I will say a lot of my patients, my daughters.
Let me say this: we're basically almost at 3 p.m. It's 2:58, 2:59. So I'm going to shut this down. But real quick, before we go, we'll have another meeting in 2 weeks. So Monica, if you would like to join us again in 2 weeks, and then maybe you can start, you know, talking a little bit more about Be Connected, because I'm sure there'll be other questions and other follow-ups after people look at the website and so on and so forth. So and the other thing that I say, and even though this is not MLM, this is just to bring some new people into the chat, but if you invite a guest, let me know, because then I will sign you up manually for free. As not that we charge a lot. But, just more than anything else, hopefully your guest finds this group interesting and the group finds
I
him
gotta
interesting.
go.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye, Monica.
Thank you. Great to see you guys again.
Yeah. So anyway, just keep in mind that if you invite a guest, then you can come for free, and it's a win-win for everybody, for him and for us and for everybody. So that's it. It's 2:59. I will shut this down, send the link, send the chat, send everything, and hopefully I can see all of you guys again in 2 weeks.
Thank you,
Sal,
sir. We appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The chat,
Bye,
Sal. I don't
everyone.
see they don't have the little 3 Zoom dots. Is there a way to save
I'll
the chat?
email it to you. Don't worry about it. I'll email it to you.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thanks
Bye.
again, Sal. Appreciate it, bud. Bye out to everybody.
Bye,
Good meeting you,
Jorge.
everyone.